It's good to see you. I'm a railroad man. Hear that click of the rails? To a railroader, that's the same music as the hush in the theater to an actor before the footlights come up. The click of the wheels on the rails gets into your blood. That is what this picture is about. I hope you'll enjoy it.
Hello, that's me. I'm a train guy.
Oh, there it is. Well, I can see why you wanted the lower bunk.
Probably the first time I saw a train was around 1957 in Santa Barbara. But it wasn't until 1973 that I really fell in love with trains. In fact, I hadn't ridden a train my whole life until then. Right now, I'm on the Coast Starlight after meeting up with David at the Oakland train station. The Oakland train station is where this trip begins.
Okay, going to the wine tasting now.
The two locomotives on the front of today's train are 1997 model General Electric P42, 4,250 horsepower diesel electric locomotives, nicknamed Genesis because of their state-of-the-art aerodynamic and environmental design. Bumper sticker I saw a couple of months ago sums it up. Friends do not let friends drink whites infidel.
Our first stop is Santa Barbara, then to Los Angeles, Albuquerque, Durango, Grand Junction, and then Denver. From Denver, we head back to Oakland. The trip back is important to me because it was from Denver to San Francisco that I took my first train trip. My first train trip was in a boxcar. I had been hitchhiking on the freeway just west of Denver when a patrolman on a motorcycle pulled up and cited me for hitchhiking, and I was told to leave or get arrested. I had no idea I was breaking the law.
Anybody going to the front? Taxis, shuttle, baggage area? No? Okay, then right here is the spot.
Where are you going?
It's Margarita, man.
That
Let's
way?
go. Let's boogie.
How much do we have? How much time we got?
We have to be back at 6:15,
Okay,
so that gives us an hour and 15 minutes.
okay. Pedersen's going to tell us all about it. This.
The patrolman handed me the ticket and suggested that I make a sign. So, on foot, I headed north until I came to a parking lot at the back entrance of an old grocery store. I was rooting around in a dumpster looking for cardboard or something to use for making a sign when I heard this fellow ask me where I was headed. I told him west. I explained my situation, and he tells me there is no way I'm getting out of Denver by hitchhiking, and that I should take a freight train. Broke, and with a citation for hitchhiking, I was convinced that I had no other choice.
Are we in Albuquerque?
We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, hey! Must be in Albuquerque. Is Albuquerque?
I followed him into the store where he scraped together enough change to buy 2 eggs, 4 strips of bacon, and a pouch of Bull Durham. We left the store and walked toward the train yard. We walked maybe half a mile. We went over a couple small hills and down into a little arroyo where there was some low brush, dry grass, and a small fire burning inside a ring of rocks. Sitting at the fire was an older man and a scruffy little dog with only 3 legs. They both looked up at me as I approached. On the fire was a scorched pot of steaming hot coffee. And after my introduction and some small talk, I was offered some. The older man, using a stick, finds an empty can in the weeds, but before he uses it, he washes it out with a small splash of coffee. Then he fills it up and hands it over to me.
Where are we, Dave?
Durango.
While I was sipping at my can of coffee, the fellow I had met in the parking lot has picked up from the ground an old plow disc and has propped it up over the fire like a Chinese wok. He throws the bacon into the hot disc. It shrinks back and sizzles into a pool of hot fat, and then he adds the 2 eggs. When the eggs are done, he pulls the sleeves of his jacket over his hands and moves the disc away from the fire and onto the ground. Then he tilts it and dumps it out on the ground for the dog.
Where are we, Dave?
We're in Grand Junction.
What are you having for breakfast?
I'm having cottage cheese and peaches and a little bit of grilled chicken.
Cool.
It was highlighted on the menu as one of the locals' favorites.
I'm having scrambled eggs, hash browns, toast, and some kind of red thing there.
Looks like rhubarb, Dave.
And this will save the day.
When they're in the 610 car,
Okay.
and those go above your seat. When you sit down, you just find an open seat up top.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And these are ours here?
Now that he's done with breakfast, he suggests that we walk over to the train yard. As we crested the bank of the arroyo, I could feel the rumble. Lines of boxcars are side by side, some standing still, some rolling, and the sounds of crashing as they're being latched. A brakeman that was working a long train saw us approaching the yard and walked toward us. My first thought was that we were in trouble. Turns out he's a friend, and I'm introduced as a new guy. I had just spent the winter in Vermont and was very pale, so he starts calling me Whitey. And after a brief lesson in how to avoid trouble with the railroad police and some train safety, he shows me a train that was being prepared for Salt Lake City. It wasn't quite ready, so we headed back to camp. The brakeman said he would walk up and signal me when it was about to leave. Still pretty early in the morning, and while sharing our stories by the fire, we heard a loud whistle. The brakeman was standing on the bank waving his arms and shouting out, "Whitey!"
DP, where are we?
Well, right now, Dave, we're in Denver, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And we just got off the California Zephyr.
I said goodbye to my hosts and ran up to meet him. He escorted me to the edge of the yard and pointed to a train he said was heading west. He told me to find an empty boxcar, get in, and stay hidden. I found my accommodation and climbed in, and After a while, I could feel the engine throttle. Then there was a thud from the first car as the engine pulled up the slack. Then a thud from the next. And as each car was lurched into tow, and then mine. I was now a train guy.